My name is Brian Hawkins. I'm 21. I love photography. I love videography. I love my family and my friends. And I'm one of the biggest geeks. I love Batman. I love the whole universe of like superheroes, DC and Marvel. I'm a big anime geek. Love manga as well. One of my favorite mangas ever is Tokyo Ghoul. One of my favorite animes ever definitely has to be Neon Genesis Evangelion, even a Rebuild series. I could talk for hours about that. Also, another thing that I love about myself, I love music. Drake, Future, Brett Faiyaz, just to name a few. Oh, and SZA, Control is the best R&B album of all time, and you guys can fight with a wall. I don't care, you know what I mean? But that to say, one of the biggest things about me that I also love about myself now is that I go around telling everybody I'm the greatest. And I feel that way. Not all of the time, sometimes. Some days I feel like the greatest, I feel like that man, the cockiest motherfucker out. But I can't lie and say that sometimes I do have days where I'm super insecure. Like stated, I'm only 21 years old. Some things I'm just not confident in myself, some things I am. And one of the main topics I want to talk about in this video is just how I got here. How I got to trying to have most of my days feel like I am the greatest. One of the biggest things for me starting out, ever since I was young, around elementary, like 3rd grade, to even throughout high school, I was heavily insecure. That was around a time where I could see other people's lives and I would think like, oh, they live better than me. I won't discredit my mom, my grandma, or any of my other family members who was there for me. I definitely don't want to discredit them when I say this, but we wasn't comfortable or well off and stuff like that. I wouldn't say poor, but we just didn't have everything. So being a young kid and growing up and seeing other people lives that were just better than me, they had on the freshest clothes or the coolest sneakers and stuff, and my mom always had me fresh. Don't get me wrong, don't get that twisted. But to see that, and even down to like just having school supplies. I remember going into school sometimes, started a school year, and I'm still reusing the same school supplies that I did last year, having to rip out old pages and notebooks and stuff to just keep going. And then my mom would buy us new supplies throughout the year whenever she got it. But growing up and seeing that other kids had it better than me, it always made me feel less than what I was. I always felt the need to lie to other kids and be like, oh, I got this, and that. Like the meme of like, oh, my iPhone's at home. My mom don't let me bring it out. Like, boy, we know we lying. You know what I'm saying? But growing up like that, I was heavily insecure. I always just felt less than who I was. And like I said, it didn't take till high school where I felt as if, okay, I want to make a change and actually do better. How I was saying how I was a geek. Batman had always been a great escape for me when I was younger. Seeing him go from being an orphan and doing something positive with it and even helping out the next generation of kids who also had that problem, not growing up the best, even though he was well off. Like, he was one of the richest kids ever, but he still had that pain and stuff. And for him to fight crime, to also have other kids where they wasn't the greatest, they didn't have the greatest standings, but to help them out, it was a great escape for me, you know what I mean? I always wanted to be just like him. I wouldn't say I didn't have no father figure, because my uncle was always there for me in my life, and I gotta give praises where praises is due with that. So when the Batman had came out, of course, I was first in line. Could I say when I went into that theater that I was gonna come out feeling like a different person? No, absolutely not. I woke up the next day and just like, I wanted to be just like him, you know what I mean? And the way that Robert Pattinson, just his look, his cadence, and everything, it was a depressed Batman that wasn't taking no shit and whooping ass. I know now that I kind of went out of that movie and took the wrong aspects of it though. Being stoic and broody and all that is cool and all, but at a certain point, come on now. Come on now, like, He even ends the movie knowing that he has to be a symbol and not this broody guy whooping ass. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna make no change doing that. At the time, I started looking better. I was working, so I had my own money. So it wasn't like how I was when I was a kid. Like now I can't afford to go get whatever I wanted. And my mom never made me pay rent or anything. So I always had expendable income. So I was always doing well for myself at the time. So my confidence and stuff was peaking and stuff like that. But you know, still underneath everything, I still felt insecure about myself and insecure as me as a person. It kind of sent me into a place where I wanted to be better. Like that's what started me going to the gym. I started reading self-help books. I started meditating, doing different practices and stuff like that. And you know, like I was trying to be disciplined with the gym and reading and then meditating and all that, but it was hard. I would be scrolling on my phone, this is TikTok boom, so I would see like hella edits of Robert Pattinson, you know, looking crazy dope. And that also motivated me to want to be better as well, because it's like, yo, I wanna look just like him, I wanna act like him. That one made me go into like philosophy and all this is and that, self-help books, meditating and all that, but it wasn't really sustainable. I mean, at the time, I thought I was doing everything right. I know now that I was just following everyone else because I wasn't the only person who came out that movie thinking, oh, I wanted to be Batman. Bro, hella people was thinking that. You know, hella people was on a Batman dick ride and shit. Bro, I always claimed to be Batman, even from when I was in elementary. You know what I'm saying? Most of them didn't even read fucking comic books. But yeah, that definitely just started my journey doing all that good jazz and stuff. Like my days consisted of me reading. I would go to the gym, meditate before I go to sleep. Honestly, good stuff. I don't want to shit on none of that because all of that is actually good for you, you know what I'm saying? And I took some of that stuff that I was consuming from TikTok and it's still in my day-to-day. Like I do read, I read sometimes. Don't kill me now. But I read, I still go to the gym sometimes. I'm not that devoted as I was back in the day, but I still do what I have to do. And it was a lot of stuff, good stuff that came out of it. But I came to a realization though, that I wasn't doing this out of love for myself. I was doing it to follow a trend. It might have not started that way, but later on it ended that way. Like I would go on TikTok, scroll to find the next motivational piece to put me into a way of thinking and to have me going and doing my thing, I guess, you know? So I can't lie, for a bit I was doing very performative shit. I was doing all this wrong things and all the things that I thought was right. And I just wanna say like TikTok definitely was a driving force for that. And after some time, I just felt unfulfilled. And like, I felt like I was falling into mediocrity. I always knew I was great. From when I first heard the word GOAT, I knew that was me. You know, even though I was a kid and I was still struggling with all my insecurity and depression and all types of stuff, I knew I was destined to be GOATed. But what I was doing was just like everyone else. I was following a trend. I mean, like saying that out loud, it just makes me feel a little dumb. But at the time, Brian didn't know no better. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with finding inspiration and motivation in that lane of like TikTok and social media and stuff like that. But I just want to let that message be known that like the shit is not real. You know what I'm saying? Like all these people are just giving you the same shit. Everyone's giving you the cookie cutter shit, and none of that is going to help your growth. I think that like the biggest thing that I have ever took from the books that I read, TikToks that I consumed, and reels, whatever, is that being yourself is really what will help you grow. Like trusting yourself, learning how to say no. Oh my God, being yourself and learning how to say no will skyrocket your growth. Honestly, bro, If you don't believe me, just try it. Like, words can't do much, but just try it, bro. It's about just trusting in yourself to the point where you know you're not falling into that shit. Like I said earlier, I love photography, I love videography, I love doing all these things. But what I feel like makes me different from most, where I can say I'm the greatest, and I don't think that should be limiting to just me. I think everyone should follow it, but I feel like I'm great because I follow me. At first I wasn't, don't get me wrong, but just like everything takes time, you know what I mean? I follow myself. I don't like following trends. I don't like being like just like everyone else. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with being mediocre or falling into mediocrity. And when I say that, I don't want to be vague of like mediocrity being like working a 9 to 5 and all that. First off, no. What makes you mediocre and just like everyone else is, well, to me, I know everybody's opinions is different, but it's following everyone. You know, you don't have one original thought in your head. It's crazy. Just like everybody popping out with Sambas. Remember that? Or Nike Blazers. I am guilty of this. Not Sambas though. I knew better at the time. But everybody is guilty of this. We do follow trends. You know what I'm saying? But once you get to a certain age, stop trying to fit in. Or matter of fact, even if you're 6 years old right now watching this, 3 years old, you know what I'm saying? If you could understand what I'm saying, don't ever fit in. Like, be you. You like those shoes on the jank, somebody in your ear is telling you, oh, them shits are ass, them shits ugly, but you like them, you rock them, point blank period. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't ever fit into some mold. That's what being mediocre is to me. Being mediocre means you wake up every day doing what somebody else has told you. You know, I want you to follow your dreams and take some deep thought and think to yourself, like, what do I like to do? What do I want to do? What does a happy life looks for me? Because I know I'm the greatest, but if my life don't mean of me like going out and like being some type of celebrity, but just working a 9 to 5, but I'm coming home to a family that loves me, you know what I'm saying? Still interested in my hobbies, but I'm doing it out of love and not out of want for anything, you know what I'm saying? I would still be the greatest because I'm still me. That stuff genuinely makes me happy. I love my family, I love my friends. If I can work, have time for my hobbies, have time to get fly, even if I'm just going to the grocery store. If I wanna get fly and just go to the grocery store, hey, I'm fucking happy and I'm fucking great at it because I'm doing what I wanna do. You will never not be the greatest if you're doing something you want to do or that you love to do. You would never not be great for doing something you love, regardless of the situation. You know what I mean? Not everybody is destined to be the next LeBron James, the next Jay-Z, Kanye, or Brett Fayez, you know what I'm saying? Or some weird niche celebrity. Not everybody's cut out for that. You gotta look into yourself and do the things that you love, that you would love with no audience watching you. A lot of people want to have that audience, having someone watch you and shit like that and all that. Bro, if you can't do it out of the love that you have, then maybe you're just following a trend. I make videos, I don't give a fuck if anybody watches them. It feels good to have my friends be like, yo, this is dope, da 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 da. But like, those are my friends and those opinions matter more than some random guy on the internet. I'm never going to want to fall into some type of trend or fall into some type of community that I hate because I want to make bread or be something that I'm not. Bro, I am great because of all the people around me. I am great because I feel like I'm getting to know myself and my own self-worth. And I want everyone to do the same. I feel like individuality is dying in our culture today. But so many people want to fall to aesthetics, some cores, or everything like that. But you're not being you. You know what I mean? And when I was younger, I feel like most of my insecurities blossomed because I was scared to be me. I was scared to tell people, hey, I don't have it. You know what I'm saying? I was scared to tell people of like my financial situation or in thoughts I was going to be judged. And even if I was, fuck them. I'm still being me at the end of the day. So my main thought process now, working on my insecurities, I'm stopping telling myself, oh, I'm a loser, I'm this, I'm that, and started talking myself in positive affirmations. You know what I'm saying? Because I am the greatest. I know it. I don't care if you know it. I don't care if you think it, honestly. What's cool to you might be lame as shit to me. What's cool to me might be lame as shit to you. And that's okay. One of my fits might be a dud. That's okay. I know when I put that on, I thought that shit was hard. Later on, I might think, that shit was garbage, but right now, I trust myself more than I trust anybody. If I put on a fit, I'm putting on a fit. I know that I love this. I trust myself, bro. Not a lot of people trust themselves anymore. And I don't know, man, like, you just gotta be you. And I don't wanna be repetitive about this, but everybody wants to do what everyone else is doing, not realizing that if you want to go viral and have a core audience, you have to be yourself. And that's just in content creation or, whatever you do, but you can tell it's just for clicks. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, ain't nothing wrong with it, bro. Like, get your bag, especially if you already have an audience and you just need to pour some shit out, bro. Do your thing. Shit, I do it sometimes too. But whatever I do, I know that I'm putting me in there. Like, you shouldn't want to be anybody else while you're making your stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is an art form, and I think people are losing that. I think more people are like looking at art as a dollar sign. That's modern capitalism, but we don't have to talk about that right now because I'm honestly not that well versed. I couldn't give you a real conversation on that unless I do more research, which I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm a black man in America. I have to be knowledgeable on stuff like that. So I know I said just be yourself, and that's super vague. So I'm not going to try to define it for every individual, but I'm going to define it what it means for me after doing some intensive thinking and journaling and all that. For me, is this, I'm Brian. I love film and photography. I want to create things that people talk about, argue about, remember. Not because I followed some blueprint, but because it actually came from me. And I'm still figuring that out. Some days I feel like I'm on the path. Other days, insecurities creep back in. It makes me question everything. I think it's that tension, that space between I'm the greatest and I'm not enough. Everything real actually comes. And that's just my mindset now. Insecurity isn't something that I should be scared of. It shows me that, like, are you willing to do this throughout the insecurities and doubt of yourself? I want you guys to feel that way because insecurity isn't as bad as we say. I think that insecurity shows what we fear and how we think we perceive to others or to yourself, you know what I mean? You should hold yourself to the highest standard, but sometimes we can get to a point where we hold ourselves to an impossible standard, and where if you have a piece of work that, you're scared of what people will think, you're scared of how you can execute it or if you can execute it to the best of your abilities or anything. And what I have to say to that is pick up your camera, your brush, your canvas, whatever you want to do creatively or you want to do as just yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to create something, but maybe you want to wear some sweater that you don't usually wear, but you're just scared of what it would look like on you or how you would feel, and just go do it, Forget what everybody thinks. Trust yourself. You might not have the budget for it, but there's cheaper alternatives to what you're looking for. When I say the greatest or I'm the greatest and all that, is basically for me just means trust. Trust in myself. I want everyone to feel like they're the greatest as well. If you know what you want and what you want to do, go do it. Don't have this thought of it has to be perfect or people are going to judge me or it has to be perfect so I can get X, Y, and Z, because I'm gonna tell you a hard truth. Like, the first thing you make is not gonna do any type of numbers. None of my shit do any type of numbers. I'm okay with that. I'm cool. I know that every time, every video, it just gets better and better and better. And even when if I just decide that I don't want to do this anymore, I know I'll have something to look back on when I'm like 50, 60, 70, or I can show my kids or their kids that, yo, your granddad, your dad was that nigga. Like, he was fly as fuck. Him and his friends was cool as a bitch, actual think piece and all that. And that's fulfilling for me. That's okay with me. Hey, if you're gonna shoot for the stars, shoot for it, but do it out of love. Okay, I know I was rambling a lot, and post Brian, you're gonna have your work cut out for you. We did not follow script. We started rambling. It's cool though. I love you, bro. You love me, and you're gonna make this into a good vid. But my final words though that I want to say, trust in you, self-reflect. I want you to journal. I want you to read. I want you to get sleep, take a shower, get fly, do everything that you wanna do. Have one day set out, you're off of work, you don't have school that day, do something that you want to do. If you're feeling creative, create something. I don't care what, just create something. It doesn't have to be good, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just do it. Feel like a fucking Nike commercial. You only live one life, you might as well trust the person you're gonna be with every day of that life, and that is yourself. I know that my last video was about consistency. It's been a month and some change since I posted. I'm sorry. Follow the Instagram, Brian X the Greatest. Follow the TikTok, same username. Everything is the same. I post on there somewhat consistently, but I do photography and videography work and stuff like that. So if you want to see what I'm up to, what I'm creating, I usually post them there. And from now on, hopefully, I can keep a consistent schedule. Who knows? I don't know.